morning, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for Scale It Down, a collaborative series about traveler's notebooks that I'm doing with Simone. This is the spread that I'm sharing with you. It is a large photo part 2, and this is in my son's swim journal. So I printed the photo using Photoshop, and you can see I put a little rectangle there, and I turned the opacity of that fill down to about 40% so that you didn't see all of the picture. My original intent was that I was going to journal directly on there. However, you will see as I progress that I changed my mind on that. So I printed the photo 8 by 8, and then I cut it slap bang down the middle, 4 inches on either side, so that I could have that full photo across both pages. Those of you who are familiar with my scrapbooking know that I like to do 12 by 12 photos. I love doing large photos. So this was a way that I could do the same thing that I do on 12 by 12, basically on an 8 by 8 canvas that's spread across 2 pages. So what I ultimately decided to do with that little rectangle that I printed in a lower opacity there is I decided to create a pocket, a flip tab out of it. So I basically just took my straight edge and my X-Acto blade, and I cut both of the verticals and then the bottom horizontal in order to create a tab that you could flip up. Because this is in a traveler's notebook, I wanted to make sure that I had a really strong adhesive to hold those really flimsy edges down, or they're really thin edges. It's not so much that they're flimsy, so that there was no chance of the photo coming up when you lifted that flip tab. So I used some double-sided adhesive there, and I put that on the right-hand side of the page, and then the full 4 by 8 photo is over there on the left-hand side. So what I've done here is I've gone over to my giant Xyron and just inserted it into there, so it's put adhesive all down the back side. And I find that that's the easiest way to adhere large elements such as this. So I have these frames that each one of them has a different month, and this happened to be the month of August. And I wanted to use that frame overlaying that is a starting block that it's overlaying. And I struggled with whether I was going to leave the frame open so that you could see the starting block and I would put the title of the layout there, or whether I was going to back that frame. It's like a Polaroid frame basically, with the date down the bottom. So in the meantime, I'm going to put a little red strip of Bella Boulevard on that bottom edge of the flap there, and I am going to put a little tab, and so that's kind of an indicator that, you know, lift here, there's something here. It doesn't actually say open, but it's more of that visual suggestion. So I did put that tab. That is from Jelly Bean Soup, and I am going to end up moving it. I much prefer the tab on the right-hand side. However, because of the way that I decided to embellish the elements on the page, I am going to have to move it for some symmetry. So I do ultimately decide to back this. That start block there is very disturbing. It's not that it's disturbing, but it's distracting is what it is. So I do back this frame with just a piece of blue. Most of the papers that I'm using here are all scraps, probably from various other swim layouts that I've done, because they are red and blue, and most swimming layouts that I do end up doing are red and blue. And what I noticed after the fact is that the bottom of that Polaroid, or the top of the bottom of that thick part of the Polaroid, actually lines up perfectly with that white strip going across the pool deck. See there as I put it down? It's perfect. It actually just is coincidence that that ended up happening, but it worked out perfectly. And so now I have a place to put the title. I had pulled those Evilicious letter stickers thinking that I was going to use those for the title, but they were the wrong colors. So I'm going to use that red label that I have stuck to my finger that I'm thinking about as I put some other element down. So this is where I move that tab because of that navy blue sticker that I put there. It felt like everything was heavy dominant on that right-hand side, and I wanted to kind of share the wealth a little bit. So there's the label that just adds a little splash of red, and I'm going to put a puffy sticker And again, just for a little touch of color. And then I'm going to use this lighter blue that complements that blue fold tab. That is the tab to lift the page where the journaling will be underneath. I have not actually journaled that yet. I'm debating what I want to do. Most of the book so far has been about his particular experience, but I've also had results in there, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get that all done, whether I'm going to type it or handwrite it. I will likely end up typing it, but that's my ongoing debate. So NCSA is the title of this particular spread because it's the meet that he was at. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more color to the page. I feel like that left-hand side of the page needs a little something. I love that photo, and I love it large, and I love, there's a lot that I love about it, but it needs something else over on that left-hand side. And so what I'm going to end up doing is put that puffy sticker there that says record this, but I also want something to cover those legs. I should have blurred them out when I was printing the photo, but actually, honestly, when I was looking at it on the screen, it wasn't quite so noticeable. So what I've got is this tag from, who is this? I believe this is a Chamel sticker book. Nope, I lied. Lizzie, Dear Lizzie's sticker book. So I'm going to put that tag down and then overlap that record this sticker. And I am going to go in later because I often go in later, and I'm going to stamp Be Amazing at the bottom of that tag. And there's something else. Oh, I take a little red heart from Cocoa Daisy and I stamp it over the 3 on the calendar because that was the 3rd of August. So that, my friends, is my large photo layout in my Traveler's Notebook for my Scale It Down series with Simone. Be sure to go over and check out what she's done today over on her YouTube channel. And don't forget that there is a part 1 over on both of our channels if you missed those. If you have any comments, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks when we do our next episode. Thanks for stopping in today. Take care.